ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, once again, another episode of the Tommy John Show. I'm always your co-host, Tommy Lane. That is Johnny Mishaws, and always our head commentator, gruesome Gavin Delaney. Gents, how are we feeling?
Not too shabby, Tommy. How about you?
I'm doing great. Gav, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Pleasure to be here as always, with you guys, ready to hash things out. And let's get the chit-chat, boys. Let's get to it.
Absolutely. Gav, I totally agree. So why don't we start with the AFC and NFC divisional rounds this weekend. There were 4 games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and great games in all of them, guys. Really entertaining games all around, would you say?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of things we didn't predict coming ended up happening. A lot of surprising outcomes, I think, Tom.
Absolutely. So why don't we start with the game that everyone was looking forward to. Brady and the Bucks trying not to get swept by the Saints. They lost their first 2 meetings in the regular season, and they had the toughest test matchup-wise for them. Johnny, going into this game, I had Tampa not with a lot of confidence. I just had them because I don't bet against Tom Brady in January. But all signs in the regular season pointed to New Orleans winning this football game, right?
Yeah, correct. I think everyone had the Saints winning it. They destroyed them in, I think it was week 6, 34-3 or something?
Yeah, it was like week 8, week 9, yeah.
And then I know week 1 they lost. I think everyone thought the Saints were a better team. I think they figured that Mike Thomas was going to go out there and actually do something. I think they figured Drew Brees was going to, he's retired this year. They thought we were going to give it all. I guess people just don't have faith in Tom Brady. And I learned the lesson, Tommy. I lost $20 to you.
Well, that happens, But going into the game, we knew that the last 4 games the Bucks played, I'm talking about the regular season, they had the bye, and then they had 4 games, and they won those 4 games. People are like, oh, they played Minnesota, they played Atlanta twice, they played the Lions. But if you look at Brady teams in the past with the Patriots, it's always September, October, November. They're just going through emotions a bit, trying to find their groove. And then when December hits, they're a new team. And right on cue, when December hit, Johnny, the Bucks haven't lost since mid-November. It's unbelievable the way they look right now.
For sure, yeah. We say it every year. They go 2-3 or 3-3, and everyone's like, okay, this is the end of the dynasty. Tom Brady, no more.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, they're undefeated and they're heading to the Super Bowl. It happens every year.
It's crazy. What I want to talk about is the defense first, because the defense at some points were the weak link of Tampa. The offense would put a tremendous amount of points up, like in Atlanta. The Atlanta game the first time, they're down at half. Brady, they get the ball, they score first possession, and the defense lets Matt Ryan go down. They eventually had to win a shootout in those games, but we weren't even last week. Heineke looked like the second coming of John Elway last week. The defense were terrible, and Bruce Arians let them know, even in the post game last week. He's like, our offense was good, our defense was disgraceful. So that probably had to set a fire under you know what, because they were unbelievable. I think that's just the way we got to look at it. I know Taysom Hill wasn't there, and they had a very limited receiving core, especially with the punt returner, I forget his name now, went out early in the game. So they weren't the loaded New Orleans that they usually are. But that defense, Devin White, oh my goodness. Is he already one of the best linebackers in the league, Johnny? It's his second year.
I think without a doubt. The guy is playing insane. He's still a rookie, DBU. I think he's the most valuable player they have on the defense right now. I think he's the quarterback of it. I think he's going to be very valuable for them for years to come.
Gab, what were you thinking watching Tampa Bay and New Orleans on Sunday? It was so weird. It was at 6 o'clock. Do we call it Sunday night?
Was it
Sunday night-ish.
Sunday evening. Sunday early evening is. I think that's what Fox branded it as.
Yeah.
You know what? Like the rest of America and probably the rest of the world, I'm very excited. Very excited. I like you mentioned before. It's hard to go against Brady in January. So like you, I had Tom Brady going into this, and also I was looking back at some of the Saints history in the postseason, well, not postseason, in the playoffs. Recently, they got missed calls. They got the Minneapolis Miracle. Things don't always tend to go their way. So, and I'm not saying, that every time they go to the playoffs, they're going to get screwed over. But, I like a trend when I see one. So I was all over Tampa. And I think really the one thing that really hurt the Saints this year that I noticed this weekend was, like you said, Tampa's defense, and also Bruce's inability to get the ball downfield. I think one of the longest passes was Jameis Winston's touchdown pass, which was a remarkable pass, but it was like the only really long connection the Saints had all game. So it was a 10-point game. If Breeze is able to get that ball downfield more efficiently, we have a different ball game. But he wasn't able to do so. And if you give Tom Brady an opportunity to capitalize, he's going to capitalize. And that's what we saw.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gav. One of the things, it's been all season they've been had that struggling with Drew Brees throwing the ball, past 20 yards. He can't do it. That's why, Kamara had such a good year. And today or the other day, he wasn't able to be part of the offense. And actually, that 56-yard throw was the longest completion of the season for New Orleans, which is insane.
I mean, that's a good sign, I guess, because Breeze, his future in New Orleans was future in the football. It's up to him now. He kind of has the decision to make. If Breeze decides to retire, then New Orleans is probably going to be the home, or the starting quarterback for the Saints is most likely going to be Jameis Winston. And if I'm a Saints fan, I see the longest pass all year from Jameis Winston. I'm looking okay as long as he doesn't throw 30 picks. We're left.
All I see is 30 interceptions a year ago with the teams in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I'm looking at Devin White's numbers here. He had 10 tackles, he had a fumble recovery, and he had an interception.
Yeah.
He had 10 tackles, a fumble recovery, and an interception. And he almost had a sack too. I don't know if I think he had half the sack or something. I mean, he's only his second year in the league, and this guy looks like Ray Lewis. I mean, it's crazy. And he is very fast, very versatile. But I got to give Todd Bowles and defense credit. Like we said, a week ago, Heineke looked like Elway. They go against Drew Brees. But I'm surprised Johnny Kamara didn't get the ball more, because Kamara was really the lone bright spot on that New Orleans offense. And he wasn't getting that many touches, especially in the second half.
Yeah, me too. I think the defense did a great job at, keeping the ball out of his hands. The whole Saints offense, they really took a step back. They didn't play no one really had a good game. Even Kamara, he had an okay game, but from what he's used to, he played like crap.
But I feel like if they gave him the ball more, because he's a volume guy. When they gave it to him 30 times against Minnesota, he had 6 touchdowns. They only gave it to him 15 times or 16 times.
Yeah, I got to hear he gave him 18 carries and he had 6 targets for 3 receptions. So you didn't get that many touches. Only 20 touches for your star player when Mike Thomas isn't doing anything, right?
Yeah, let's talk about Mike Thomas quickly. What the hell happened there?
I don't know. Apparently he was hurt. He said he's played through injuries, having surgery coming up. So I guess that's his excuse.
But I feel like that's every receiver's excuse when they have a bad game. Oh, man, I'm injured.
Yeah, half the time, they drop a couple passes. Yeah, I had a broken arm for halftime.
Johnny, it goes back to the baseball player who overthrows first base, right? What's the first thing they do?
Yeah, exactly. It's touches the shoulder. I got something in my eye.
Jeez, coach, time.
And it was I think it all started with the boat trip Giants, Johnny, where receivers
downhill from there, man. Everything.
Where Odell, after the game, man, it wasn't feeling right. Wasn't feeling right. You were in Miami 6 days ago partying on a boat. And now all of a sudden you don't feel right.
It's called being hungover.
Oh, man. Throwback to the boat trip Giants. What was that, 2016?
It was the last time we made the year after we made the playoffs is the wild card.
Oh, my God. At Lambeau, eh?
Yeah.
Imagine that you're on a boat in Miami 1 week in the hot on the ocean, and next week you're in the frozen tundra in Green Bay.
No wonder he didn't play well.
And he dropped a few. He had it wasn't like Eli played bad. It was.
That was downhill from Odell. Ever since that boat picture, his career is fast back down.
You got to learn. If you're a receiver, an NFL receiver, no boat trips before games, and no TikToks where you're dancing on the stadium on the logo, because you will get torched. You're gonna get torched.
These are the 10 commandments of a receiver. No, thou shalt not.
Thou shalt not do
team logos on TikTok. Thou shalt not fake an injury. Thou shalt not go on a boat trip to Miami.
6 days before game.
Yeah, exactly. But that's crazy. I know we're supposed to have the Bucks here, but they played in Washington the game before, so they're in Washington instead of going to New York. They flew down to Miami. Uh, but yeah, back to the Bucks, and let's talk about Tom Brady for a second. What more can we say about this guy? Did this guy even have to win the Super Bowl to prove anything more, or has he proved enough this year? But I know he's obviously he wants that championship. But what more can this guy prove at this point?
I agree. Tom Brady, he's at like LeBron right now. Both the players, like they're at the end of their career, all they're doing is adding on accomplishments. They already proved all they have to prove. He's just trying to make himself even better for that the Hall of Fame resume.
Is it just it's just widening? It's just widening the gap between him and the next guy.
For sure, especially if he plays another year, he's gonna have because I think him and Drew Brees are up there for pass yards, right? So if he keeps playing, Drew Brees is retired. He's gonna.
But you looked yesterday; those guys, Brees is 18 months younger, and Brady looked 18 years younger than him on Sunday.
Yeah.
Unbelievable! But
he's father time, man. He's never gonna catch up with him. Every year he bet against him, and every year he proves us wrong.
Every year I have to hear this is the last year. I don't see it. Last year it was the defense won him the championship. Then last year was this year let's see him without Belichick. And then now we're without Belichick, and Belichick's in his Cape Cod home. I don't know what he's doing. Doing something. He ain't coaching on the sideline. That's what he ain't doing. And Tom Brady's off to the NFC Championship game. But what we have to touch on is the game plan they had, because clearly the game plan wasn't the usual Buccaneers. Let's throw this ball all over the lot. You couldn't against this defense, Tony. They're just too good all around, and they've gotten burnt the first two times with that strategy. Did you like the strategy of handing the ball off to Fournette and dumping the ball off to the running backs, or using the tight ends a lot? Was that the game plan you think Tampa Bay had to use to get the win?
I think so. Yeah, Tampa Bay, they played physical. They played more physical than I guess Saints were expecting. They really only had that one 56-yard touchdown pass. That was only pass meltdown, defensive meltdown throughout the game. They played a good game. Their offense, like you said, they rushed the ball with Fournette and Ronald Jones. That was their winning combination throughout the year. Those two guys, they did what they had to do. They had a good game plan. They enforced it well.
They even had Gronk wasn't even great. Cameron Brate was the tight end getting most of the action on Sunday. I forget, it was Sunday that the game happened. But yeah, it was amazing to watch. Where do you rank this New Orleans? I don't want to say rank, but where do you in disappointments of recent years? Because there was obviously like you said, the miracle, Minnesota. Then there was the horrendous call against the Rams. The passing.
I didn't call, just no call.
No call. And then what was it? Then last year they lost to Minnesota again. And then this year, Johnny, if you have to look, where does this rank with those recent losses with great New Orleans teams? Is this one right up there? Because considering they beat them twice in the regular season.
Right. I would say it's middle to upper middle. It's for them. I would say it's maybe second or third. It's for sure not the worst loss. I think the worst loss is the no call. That's brutal. But yeah, like you said, Tommy, they won both games regular season. They were the favorite going in. I know I bet on them. A lot of people had a lot of money riding on them, and they shot the bed. There's nothing else to say. They didn't perform as well as they could have. They only scored 20 points. Drew Brees had 3 interceptions. Mike Thomas did nothing. Kamara didn't play at his level. It wasn't a good game for the Saints.
And I think, just quickly, if I can jump in here, I think this was just a pure example of how much Tom Brady's on a different level than any other quarterback any one of his peers in the NFL. Because, he was put on the stage against someone that he's been compared to a lot. So, like you said, he's only 18 months younger than him. Nothing against Brees, but he's just going about the natural progressions of his football career. He's an older quarterback. He doesn't have what he used to have. He couldn't get the ball downfield like we saw it. And then we look on the other side, and then we see Tom Brady as playing as if, I don't know if it was the avocado ice cream, but he was playing as if he was, straight out of college and just killing. Like you said, 18 years younger. So it was just it was unreal, lights out. Nothing against Breeze, but that's what happens when you get older, man. And Tom Brady's just a specimen. And I think this is disappointing because, yeah, they did mop the floor with them, and they did. The Saints definitely did have the Bucks number throughout the regular season, but I mean, we were able to tell in the first quarter that, okay, Tom Brady in January, this just confirms that he's a force to be reckoned with, and Breeze is on his way out, unfortunately.
What my takeaway from the game is look, this is what people don't understand. They all look at what people do on the field, right? They look, oh, this guy has the best arm, this guy's the most mobile, but they don't talk about what these guys do off the field. With Tom Brady, you can see the difference in the team and his decision-making. You saw the first 2 games against New Orleans. You clearly saw he had chances to go down the field and make a risky throw. And what he would do? He would just put an extra something on it to put it out of harm's way. So it's either my guy doesn't catch it or it's incomplete. He was not going to throw an interception all game long. When he had he had guys open down the field, but he took the short ones to Fournette, knowing that if we eat clock, stay on the field, get points, we have a good chance our defense is going to make a stop. I mean, he understands this is his most underrated quality. He understands what he has to do to win. He doesn't care if he throws 100 yards or 600 yards. He knows exactly what he has to do to win, and he knew on Sunday, that I'm going to throw for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and walk away with a 10-point victory. He knew that's exactly what he had to do, and he did it. And to say anyone ever is in his category, I think, is just laughable right now, Johnny.
I agree. He's proved that year after year, head and shoulders why he's the greatest quarterback to ever play.
That's from a Giants fan and a Giants fan.
He's beat him twice in the Super Bowl.
I know. You have a less sour taste of Tom Brady because he didn't inflict too much damage on you.
We didn't have that much heartbreak because of him.
I know. Well, you're lucky. You're the only ones.
You're one of the lucky 8.
Because even Philly lost one to him, so they're 500. They're even. They're 1-1. You are.
We know, baby.
I think a little bit of Brady wanted to play the Giants in the playoffs instead of Washington to just conquer a bit of those playoff demons.
I would like to see that matchup, man. Giants Bucks.
Yeah, Nate Sudfeld happened. So before Johnny goes on a 20-minute rant, we're gonna switch gears a bit. Just quickly, do you think Tampa Bay has a legitimate shot next week at Lambeau, or are you gonna doubt Tom Brady again?
I mean, personally, I like the Packers in this game.
There you go.
And
in a week from today, we'll be like, I don't know what happened. Brady was Brady,
I got to stick with my gut here. My gut's telling me that even though Tom Brady might be play well in the cold weather of Lambeau Field, his receivers won't. And I think it's going to be the other guys that are going to lose in the game, not Tom Brady.
I think AB will be fine if he plays because he played in Pittsburgh.
AB though, I don't trust AB. I think he's too inconsistent now.
All right, fair play. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that one. Gav, who do you think? Do you give the Bucks a shot on Sunday?
I absolutely give the Bucks a shot on Sunday. If Brady's performance was iffy on last weekend, then I say it's going to be a toss-up. But if he plays the way he did last week. And I think regardless of people argue about the weather all the time, but a lot of these guys, they play cold weather in college. They play cold weather in high school. They're from cold weather areas. I know Green Bay is something else, but I don't like to factor in the cold too much. But it's definitely a factor, so you got to keep it in mind. But regardless, I think the Bucks have a legitimate chance of taking down Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. If not, they will take them down. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we're going to look forward to that game on Sunday, which will be something else. Okay, so guys, I'm going to end the recording because he says we have 8 minutes left. I'm going to restart, and we got 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.